Howdy, Immortallium here, and welcome to my very first MVM review, where I review the anime series that MVM Entertainment sent to me to review. So now, first series, what is it? It is Toradora. Now, Toradora is a series that I've been looking forward to for a very, very long time. The first time I ever came across it was MP14 Anime. I remember them, I think they named it their favorite anime ever, which of course was a huge, incentive for me. So I checked it out, and I found out that it was only available in America at the time, which, disappointed me. But due to a re-release of it in America, with a new English dub, MVM has finally picked it up and released it in the UK and Ireland. What are my opinions on it? Let's get started with the summary. The summary can be put that we're introduced to a character called Ryuji Takusu. Now, Ryuji is, he's a bit misunderstood. He has these very kind of glaring eyes, narrow, aggressive looking, and a lot of people kind of think that he's a thug or he's a yakuza, etc, etc. But in reality, he's a very nice boy. He's obsessed with, cleaning his house, cooking his food, taking care of his mom, who's always sleeping because she works at a hostess club at night, etc, etc. And in high school, he comes across this girl called Taiga. And Taiga gets into a bit of a predicament with him. Basically, she leaves him a love letter accidentally, which was in fact meant for another boy called Kitamura, who is a close friend of Ryuji. Taiga goes after Ryuji in order to try to get it back, almost kills him, and basically he then confesses to her that he's in love with a girl called Kushieda, who is one of the best friends of Taiga. So, as you can see, it's already getting quite romantically awkward. They make a pact with each other to assist each other in, being able to confess their love for, the other one's best friend. And that's kind of how the series begins. Taking that very cliche-sounding plot, let's just put it that way, it's a pretty good story. It's set over 25 episodes. And, the first half of the series is very much the more comedic side, where lots of awkward things are happening. For example, breast implants, diet warriors, etc, etc. There's lots of weird comedy antics happening in the first half of the series. And then the second half is the side that more concentrates on the dramatic element. So, romance drama is very much the genre that this series fits into. And in general, it's, held pretty good. We get to find out about the characters, we get to understand them, we see their emotional situations, and, there's a couple of twists and turns, with some interesting confessions. Now, I will say that at points there are some... Well, okay, I don't like to use the term melodramatic. I actually made a video in which I criticized people who use the term melodramatic negatively, since I actually find that a lot of series can use melodrama fantastically. And in fact, a lot of this series has very good melodrama, but there are a couple of moments that I found a bit over the top. And then I will say that the ending, that's... a lot of people did criticize the ending, and I will say that I'm probably going to be one of those people. I found the ending a bit rushed. I thought that a couple of stuff kind of came out of nowhere near the end. But in general, the actual story behind the series is pretty good, has its emotional kind of roller coaster ride, we get to find out about the characters, etc, etc. It's a good series story overall. But of course, the most important thing about any romantic drama is the characters. So, let's start off with Ryuji himself. As I said, he is misunderstood, and, is mad into cleaning, cooking, and taking care of his mom. And he's actually a very sweet and relatable character. I liked Ryuji a lot. I found him charming, and the only thing I didn't like was how can I put it now? how he just allowed Taiga to walk all over him. I'll get into that in a bit of a moment. But besides that, I liked his relationship with the characters. And I thought he was a very, very good character to kind of act as a lead. A great protagonist, that's how I should put it. Now, the other character, Taiga. Oh, this character. I don't want to seem like as if I dislike her. I actually ended up liking her a lot. But let's just put it this way. She is quite often called one of the queens of tsundere. Now, if you're not familiar with what tsundere is basically where a girl, I guess it can apply to any people that aren't girls, but anyway, in general it applies to girls. And what it means is that they're, you know, pretty angry, tough, aggressive, etc., against the boy that they like. But then over time, they start to kind of soften up. We get to see their more kind of emotional side. Etc. And I will confess, tsunderes are among my least favourite type of anime girl. I will say that. They just don't do anything for me. I'm very sorry to disappoint anyone who was expecting it otherwise, but so yeah, at the beginning of the series, Taiga is kind of like in kind of full guns blazing tsundere mode, where she is beating the utter crap out of Ryuji, and you know, I found that really annoying. I didn't expect to like her at all. But over time, I actually did start to warm up to her. She started to reveal her more emotional side. She started to actually treat Ryuji with a bit of dignity. I use that term loosely because it's not really at any point that she actually treats him with any decent level of dignity. But overall, yeah, I ended up liking her. That's what I'll say. She's a pretty good character overall. Then we have Kushieda, who's the girl that Ryuji's into. And Kushieda is one of those really, really energetic girls. You know, she's always full of energy. She has a job at almost every point in the day. She's absolutely, and she's, I think, the captain of the softball team. She's absolutely full of energy. But we start to realize that this isn't quite, you know, this isn't everything about her, that she actually does have this kind of more sensitive side to her. So she does have a great level of depth to her, that's what I will say. And I enjoyed her character. Now, my least favourite character of the main characters is going to be Kitamura. Now, Kitamura is the vice president of the student council, and a kind of a very kind of calm, relaxed, kind of chill guy. You know, girls are mad for him. And, you know, he's always there to kind of give advice and all that. And overall, I just kind of found him a bit bland. I mean, we do get a bit of focus on him. We realise that he does have an emotional side to him. But overall, I would say of the 5 main characters, yeah, Kitamura, he just didn't really do anything for me. And then we get to the last character, which was a bit of a surprise for me, actually, Ami. Ami takes a while to get introduced. She's actually a model, and and a childhood friends of Kitamura. I actually quite often forgot that. And she pretends to a lot of people that she's sweet, adorable, cute, etc., but in reality, she's actually quite cynical, I wouldn't say, she's not aggressive in the same vein as Taiga, but she's aggressive in the more passive way, passive-aggressive, that's the best way to put it. And she's also kind of very much aware of the situations around her, about who's in love with who, and the emotional side to people. So I actually ended up thinking that Ami is the best character overall, in my opinion. I really enjoyed any scene Ami was in. And some people might be surprised at that, but I really did end up liking Ami. So, yeah, I really liked Ami. That's the best way to put it. So, overall, for the characters themselves, yeah, they're a pretty good crew. Again, I'm not that keen on Kitamura, but the rest serve their purpose very well and are very likable. Now, we have a variety of other characters, but you know, they're more for kind of allowing these central relationships to develop. And actually, one other thing, I just have to point out this one other character who is easily the least favourite character in this show, and that is the bird. Now, I can't even remember the bird's name, but Ryuji has this pet bird at home, which is constantly under stress, is able to talk, but is unable to say its own name, and any scene in which featured that bird, I absolutely hated. I don't know why. It just really didn't work for me. I just found it unfunny. I found it not interesting at all. I didn't think it served anything to the plot. So yeah, that bird was a stinker in my opinion. But yeah, overall in terms of characters, there's a lot of other decent characters, and yeah, that works. Now, for the animation itself, it's done by an animation studio called J.C.Staff. And J.C.Staff do a pretty good job here. The characters are charmingly designed. There's decent animation overall. I did notice that there were a couple of moments that were a bit iffy in terms of quality control. Mainly any scene that dealt with, you know, a lot of fluid animation. But even a couple of scenes where the characters were just standing there, and it just that their eyes might have been just ever so slightly too far apart, you know, which gave them a bit of an odd look. So, animation-wise, it was pretty good overall, but you know, it isn't the best animation that I've ever seen. It just serves its purpose quite well in general. Also, I just want to point out it's surprisingly colourful for a drama. So, I just want to point that out. Music-wise, again, it's pretty good actually. Openings and endings. I actually really like the first ending music. I don't know why. As usual, I was expecting I like the openings more, but the first ending I really thought was really good. Now the actual music throughout the show itself, it's good, but it's kind of forgettable. Like, it serves the scenes that it's featured in very well, but you know, after the show I can't really remember any of the actual musical pieces, so yeah, let me just put it that way. Now, I watched it in English, because of the fact that, you know, this whole big re-release thing is mainly due to the fact that it's getting an English dub, has gotten an English dub. And I will say that the English dub is actually very good. Now, it's made up of a combination of industry veterans, relatively newcomers, and some people I've never heard of before. So, let's take the very lead character, Ryuji Takasu, voiced by Eric Scott Kimir, who I believe this is the very first time I've ever heard him, and he's really good. I really like him. He serves Ryuji's role very well, you know, making him very likable, very charming, and overall I think he was really good at voicing him. Taiga Aisaka is voiced by Cassandra Lee of K-On! Fame, and again, she serves very good. She voiced Ritsu in K-On! And she brings that same level of energy and dynamism to Taiga's character. So I really did like Cassandra Lee as Taiga. I thought she served very well. Kushieda is voiced by Christine Marie Cabanos, who voiced Asuna in K-On! I almost called her Asunyan. But anyway, Asuna in K-On! And here she, a bit of a surprising role actually for her, because, you know, she's relatively calm and relaxed in K-On! And she's, you know, kind of here with full guns blazing energy. But she serves Kushieda very well. She gives her a great level of energy, and at the same time is very believable in, you know, kind of the scenes where she calms down and starts explaining her emotions and what she feels on situations. So overall, very good. Johnny Young Bosch as Kitamura, the probably the most industry veteran here in this group, and it's hard for me sometimes to kind of separate characters from voice actors. In this, since Kitamura is my least favorite character of the group, I would have to say Johnny Young Bosch is probably the least favorite actor in here. Not that he plays the role badly, it's just he doesn't really add much to the actual charm of the character. He just kind of plays him very kind of restrained. That's the best way to put it. And then for Ami, interesting, Erika Harsaker? Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. Again, another actor, voice actor that I've never heard of. And she plays the role really well, as can be evidenced by the fact I really like Ami. She brings, you know, that kind of very snarky attitude to the character. And she also kind of shows that she has a great sense of maturity, while at the same time showing that she's quite emotionally vulnerable due to her age. So I really liked her as an actress, and I definitely hope to see her, as well as Eric Scott Kimir, in future roles, because I thought both of them were really good in this dub. Now there are a couple of other roles in this series. There's Wendy Lee and Mila Lee, which I like seeing them definitely. So overall, it's a very good English dub, definitely. I would definitely recommend people check out the English dub. Now, as well as that, MVM has a couple of extras here. We have the OVA episode, which is basically a filler episode. Basically, it's kind of the Ryuji kind of competing with another person for bento boxes. And while it doesn't really add anything to the story, you know, it's a decent little kind of filler OVA, you know. That's the best way to put it. It doesn't add anything, let me just put it. If you're going in expecting a different ending or a, you know, continued part of the ending, just forget it. It's just simply kind of a filler episode. But, you know, it's a decent one. Along with that, we have Hurrah for Gorman's Shorts, which is kind of a whole bunch of super deformed, kind of chibi shorts, very comedic based, and I thought they were okay, nothing special. So yeah, they're just kind of like, they're nice to have, but I can imagine just watching it once and never checking it out again. Ami's Impressions, which I was definitely interested in checking out. If you've seen the series, you'll know that at one point Ami is forced to do some impressions, and we don't get to see that in the series, but they actually did record some lines for it in the original Japanese, which is what we're showing here. And while, you know, the fact that I didn't think it was as energetic as I was expecting, considering how, you know, hyper they made it out to be during the series. But, you know, it was a decent little extra. And then we get our standard kind of TV spots, trailers, and, you know, textless opening and closing. Along with that, MVM is actually releasing it here on Blu-ray, so if you want to get it in high definition, definitely it's available. And I'd say that despite, you know, the couple of flaws here and there in the animation, this series, with its charming character designs and great colours, would definitely look great on a Blu-ray, and I definitely intend to pick it up. What I reviewed it on, what MVM sent me, was a DVD, and I definitely want to pick it up again on HD. So overall, as can be evidenced by the fact that I'm saying that I want to get it again, rebuy it basically. Yeah, I really enjoyed the series. I might have sounded a bit harsh here and there, but overall it's definitely a series that I ended up enjoying. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. So I would recommend that you pick up the series if you're into tsundere, of course, or, you know, if you want another romantic drama, or if you just simply want to you know, check out, you know, what the whole buzz is. You know, like, there's a lot of people say that Toradora is the best thing ever, and while I'm not in that camp, I would definitely say that it is a very good show. So definitely worth checking out. I will include in the description below some links to some pages where you can actually purchase the MVM editions. I'll include, I think it's Amazon, Play.com, Base.com. If I find another website, I'm going to add it into the description. But definitely, if you're interested in checking this series out, click on the descriptions, find the best price, order it, etc, etc. So yeah, that's my review of Toradora. Hope you enjoyed. Hopefully this will generate some revenue for MVM. And yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and bye-bye.